What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV. Back again with my brother, Deluded in the building.
Come on, man. I love for having me again, Curtis, man. We're starting to show some consistency with this show sort of thing. We've got 2 in recent weeks. Let's let it continue, man. Obviously, if you haven't seen me on his channel before, get used to it. And thanks for having me, my dude, man. What are you saying?
Anytime, man. Listen, if you haven't subscribed to his channel by now, you're missing out, man. Deluded Guna, one of the best on YouTube.
Just be off camera, people. You don't say this off camera. Don't let him gas you now. I'm gassing you. He's a cool guy.
The people them love the partnership, man. Like Burkamp and Henry.
Yeah. Also, I see someone say Will Todd and Canu in the comments.
Oh, Will Todd and Canu, yeah.
Before
we get into this video, actually, I want to ask you about something. I see a video of you the other day. Giving out one of the, like, I thought I was watching Any Given Sunday, bro. You know when Al Pacino gives that, life and death conversation. Bro, I wanted to 2 foot like my next door neighbor, bro, when I heard that.
I keep seeing comments like that. We said it galvanized everyone.
Bro, they need to hire you at Arsenal, bro. I'm telling you.
Listen, do you know what it is? It's one of the Mandem's teams, isn't it? And like, I started off coaching it. I am coaching it. I don't actually want to play. I want to coach, but between needing numbers and things, we're playing now, and we lost 6-1 in it. So obviously, losing 6-1 is a mad L in itself. But for me, it's about how we lost, bro. It's like, fair enough, the keeper's not a natural keeper, but players are not listening. Like I said, players are not tracking back. Players are not following their runners, and they didn't understand. And for me, I don't like to shout. I don't like to do that because it becomes a bit sort of redundant. People become, reacting to it. But it needed to be said, man. Like, at the end of the day, we're here to have fun. It's only Sunday league, but at the same time, for me, that meant putting in more because we're paying to play. We're waking up. Who else works all week, wants to pay money and wake up early in the morning to play Sunday to lose? I went on it, my guy. And I just had enough, bro. We lost 6-1. It was 2-1 in the first. It was 2-1 in the second half at a point. And they've just shipped 4 goals. And it's the goals we're conceding. It's Kalam. It's like they were a good side, but it's like we're giving them their goals. It's everything we talk about Arsenal and say that Arsenal not doing. I saw my team doing it. And, I'm not going to lie, I had a good game. So I was a bit more G'd up. I did my thing. I locked my man on the key. But at the end of the day, I was part of the defense, innit? Like, I was playing left back. And it's just an L. Like, it's just, because it's L, bro. It was raining and that. It's an L. It just got long. It's for me, it's like in my team, if I'm honest, there's some man that have got fight, but it's just far and beyond. And we keep hearing the same voices. There's some man that just don't know how to fight, and there's just some man that don't know what the hell is going on, my guy. So it was long, bro, and that was just explosion of everything, man. A lot of people are saying, it's the first time I've seen DG like that. I mean, he should come every week, bro. Them talks there have to happen quite a lot, fam.
They have to happen. You know what it was? I think because you're quite calm and collective on YouTube, to see that video is like, raw, man's like, raw, fam. I'm telling you.
There's a different station. Yeah, man, try to do the Wenger thing, not letting man see the emotions and that, but every now and again it comes out, man. It comes out. You have to. It's the passion. It's like if everybody was like that in my team, we'd have half a chance. Seriously.
For real, man. Let's get into the Arsenal anyway. I mean, just got a quick one here saying, should Arsenal sign Doucouré and Malang Sarr? I mean, what do you think about that?
I don't mind Malang Sarr, my dude. It's a free transfer at the end of the day, and he gives us some adaptability. I can't see how we would, he's a free transfer, and that's right up our street. But I can't see how we're gonna. Wait, apologies. Someone said 300 Sparta speech. You're killing me. But moving forward, I wouldn't mind Malang Sarr in it because if you could get him and Gabriel with Saliba, they've got age on their side. I don't think he's necessarily natural at left back, but he can do a job there, and he could be all right in the back three. Obviously, you're coming on a free with his age. There's sell-on value. Doucouré, I wouldn't mind Doucouré. We spoke about this before, Curtis. I feel when man speak about Doucouré, and Watford fans might back this up, I think they put him down as a player when he's not necessarily one. It's like they think of man as Vieira, and that really he's a man in that midfield flat three. You kind of want to give a free roll to and let him be box to box and doing stuff. I rate Doucouré. I like Doucouré. It all depends on the price tag. Last time I saw, apparently Wolves were interested in him and someone else from Watford. So I'm not sure, but I wouldn't mind him still. Have you seen our midfield? At least Doucouré, he's not going to get mad numbers, but he's, he can break lines and drive and that, my guy.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. Big up Broads TV, man. Go check out his channel. That's my strike partner for AFTV. We might have to.
That's the guy that rattled Thingy in it. Who did he rattle? I swear I seen this.
Rattled DT, man.
Yeah. Man, see it, man. Shout out to him. Mad on someone one time. Like,
we might need a friendly, AFTV against Edmonton.
They're not ready for them thing. They're like not ready for that. Not ready. I've had a man there from other teams been saying, I'm like, brother, cool off, man, cool off. You lot do your thing and you lot's divisions. If you man need a left back, right back, Maitland Niles thing, you don't know what to do, innit? But nah, we're not ready, man.
I'm telling you, man, training's on a Monday, man. Training's on Monday,
where
bro. We can sort that.
Where'd you man train? Sweden?
Enfield. Yeah, local for you, bro.
We're real local, boy. Who knows, man? Yeah. You might have to make an appearance real soon, but I can't lie.
I'm telling you, man, the window's open. Things can happen, bro. I'm telling you.
I might have to do a Gabriel thing and say, soon. We've got let the clubs agree a fee, but I'm definitely gonna touch training then, if just for fitness purposes or something. I'm on it, man.
No, but let's get into Arsenal, man. Cause do you know what I think we spoke about a week ago on your channel, and you know what I thought? You know what? The next time we talk, we probably sign 1 or 2 players. Couple man have left. We're still here a week later. Nothing's happening. Everyone's basically saying Gabriel's done. Then we're hearing Man United have thrown a spanner in the works and they've made a late offer. I'm also reading that Gabriel's agent is Malcolm's agent, and we know Malcolm was on his way to Rome. They was waiting for him at Rome airport.
Arsenal, Spurs, Roma.
Do you know what I'm saying? So, what do you think about this, man? Is he playing us a little bit, or do we have to just give him his time and let him make his decision?
I mean, you know, obviously, not to make this a banner thing, but when you got an agent like that, your players are for the streets, in it. Like they're not loyal in it. They're like Gally in the club in it. They're for they're whoever moves to it first, sort of thing. I think part of Gabriel. Big man thing, I think Gabriel wants to sign for Arsenal. I think, like other clubs have shown, there's a project there. Fair enough, we might not be Arsenal, but we can give him, you know, you're looking at him, he's 22. His next career move, you'd imagine he's there for 3 or 4 years. You look at the development from 22 to 26, they're crucial. That's why I could understand going to Napoli with how they look at defending and Italian looks at defending. But with Arsenal, you know, he fits the profile. You know, he'll be part of the rebuild. And then there's Arteta himself. There's plenty of reasons to sign for the club. I think he wants to sign for the club. I just think it's a game of poker. You hear rumors Arsenal have done everything they can in terms of personal fees and agreeing terms with him. You hear Leo's Leo's owner coming out and saying basically he's free to do what he wants, kind of driving up the prices. And I just think it's late pressure to get the deal done. You know, Man United do have registered interest, and they could have legitimately said, all right, cool, we want him again. But I just think about it logically. If you're Leo's owner and your player is going to be sold, you're seeing Napoli and Arsenal. You know, we don't know what's going on behind Arsenal because we hear additionally, you know, Aubameyang, Ceballos, and Partey. You've got Napoli seeming to do other things. You want to kind of hurry them up. So this could just be late pressure. The thing with Gabriel is I think Gabriel's shown he's kind of open to going everywhere. You know, he's allegedly had a medical with Everton before. You know, he's previously talked up Chelsea. You know, United, cut the banter aside, there's enough reasons to sign for United as Arsenal. PSG have registered their interest. So I think on one hand, I think it's a case of this is going to be done. This is done. But at the same token, my guy, I think it's still up in air and it's crucial until the man's holding the shirt. You don't know. And to be fair, he doesn't owe us anything. For me, like I said, with his age and everything, you know, he should take his time over it and stuff like that. But when I move away from that and all of that, the other token is, if you kind of have to be convinced of this club's project more than just selling, you know, obviously you sell your club and your project, but if you have to really be almost forced, there's a fine line between that and forced, then we don't need him in a central way that he's a good player. But we need, like Arteta said, we need man whose hearts are in this. I'm all on Gabriel, man, you know, 6'3", decent recovery pace, can ball play, decent in the air, aggressive. There's resale value there. And I mean, you know, I don't think initially it's going to be Saliba and Gabriel as a partnership, but long term, medium to long term, that's what I'm with. I'm with at some point next season, you know, throwing them both into centre half, let them learn their mistakes. Because I know, myself included, I'm saying they're going to make mistakes. They will make mistakes.
They will.
But our experienced players are making the same ones. At least these man kind of learn from it. You know, there might be times you have to take them out the side, but I think it'll be done. But until it's done, who knows, my guy, man. And I just hope we got other targets.
Let me just quickly get his super chat. Coach Cardamone said, if Gabriel deal gets hijacked, realistically, who do we turn our attention to? A left-footed centre-back is vital. And Deluded, who's your favourite player of all time? Arsenal player.
I mean, there's only one man, Thierry Henry, man.
It's got to be Thierry, hasn't it?
Thierry. I can't not mention Patrick Vieira. You can't not mention Dennis Bergkamp. But if you put a gun to my head, Thierry Henry, man. I was convinced the guy was my uncle at one point. Really convinced in primary, bro. If we miss out on Gabriel, you know, he's definitely everyone's. Oh, he's like Ian Wright, but at the same time, in relation to this Gabriel thing, bro, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just like to. That's what I'm saying. The club need to have project targets, because all fun and games. Curtis saying targets, me saying players, you saying players. I just hope the club has plan C, D, E, F, etc. Because things go wrong. If we miss out on Gabriel, who else flops it? Who else comes? Clearly, I don't want to say our first target was Upamecano, but last season, for every reason, we didn't get him. This season, it's not going to be a thing. So we've now gone on the Gabriel boat, and you'd hope that, you know, because we've worked with Lille before for Pepe, because we've got, you know, South Americans within our team and young players, and actual, if they're not either one, we've got French speakers, you know, Saliba's actually French, and David Luiz, I imagine being in Paris, can speak France, vital to a member of the defense. Looking at his personality just based on Instagram, it's irrelevant, but he looks like the Aubameyang sort, outgoing, and he looks like he'll slot in well, but it's dangerous. I just want to see plan B, E, D, whatever targets if this doesn't happen, man, because things can go wrong. You know, we took Aaron Ramsey off Man United. Fair enough, it's different, and he was a young man, but these things happen. How many players have had medicals at Arsenal? You know, a player we signed in Willian, you know, he was a Spurs player, you know, in all but name at a point, and then he bust out to Chelsea. So until these things are done, they're not done, and it's just about the other targets. It's just about like the backups for me. Like if we miss out on players, we miss out, but I don't want it to come to the end of the window and a centre half isn't here in addition to Saliba, because then for me, I can't really be happy with that. Like, that's the minimum for me.
Now, you make a great point. I saw on one of your videos, I think, did you release it today or yesterday, where you were saying, if we have to convince him to come here and really put pressure on him, then something's wrong. And to me, I feel like, you know, you get a lot of these agents, don't you, where like they're leaning on their player and they're probably saying, yo, Man United have offered us more money at the last minute, like tell Arsenal to wait. And you know, if you're Arteta, are you tempted to just walk away and say, you know what, if this brother can't make his mind up, we're going elsewhere?
I think the one thing I'll give Arsenal, for as much as they delay and take long to do things, and they have messed things up, even the Suarez thing, they don't do things unless there's a real sign of encouragement or unless real things are put into place. We know our transfers take dragged out. So I do think there is a chance we could get Gabriel. If I'm Arteta, I don't think it would have gone this far if the player wasn't actually interested in Arsenal beyond. There's a difference between there's nothing wrong with having a selection of clubs and taking your choice. As you said, there's a difference between you've got Arsenal, you've got this club, and we're really having to almost force you to come to this club rather than whatnot. This is what I'm saying. And obviously we've lost scouts as well. We've lost scouts. So it's like the profile of player, Gabriel, you know, he's early 20s. The price tag isn't that big. Left-footed centre-half and ball play. Again, we've lost our scouts. So how many lists of other names have we got that fit that profile, my guys? Like, that's what it comes down to. If there's other names with that, then cool. But this could very well be Arsenal's last sort of option. You know, Upamecano could have been the big target. There could have been somebody else. And then this is the next one. So if we miss out on him, then I don't know. You know, we might even go for a more experienced centre-half per se. You know, I don't know. I think Arteta will get his man. But until it happens, I'm not sure. So I don't think it wouldn't have gone. Surely it wouldn't get this far if the player wasn't legitimately on it, really.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Gabriel, how good do you think he is? Because I'll be honest, I've only seen him a couple of times. The majority of the footage is YouTube. And, you know, I remember Yaya Sanogo looked good on YouTube. So I ain't going to take that. You know what I mean? So how good do you actually think this guy is? If in terms of like maybe him and Saliba, which one would you say is maybe a little further down the line in terms of quality?
I'd say I think Saliba's got the bigger scope for potential, but I think Gabriel definitely slightly ahead of him at the moment. I think he thinks quicker. I think he's been slightly more exposed to football. But if you look at it, even Gabriel, he hasn't had that much football. You know, his rise has been incredible. He's gone on a couple loan spells at Dynamo Zagreb. I could be wrong, but he's had a loan spell in France, and he's really blossomed in the last 18 months to 2 years. I do think there's a lot in his game that needs to be coached out, but realistically, at 22, what centre half? Very few are going to be the finished article. I think the rough edges in his game, like I know he likes to put a foot in. He's a bit like Koscielny. At times, you need to know when to do that. I think at times he can be caught flat-footed. I think at times his body positioning can be a bit awkward. But I think the plus points is, and again, until he plays in this league, none of it is relevant. But I think he's shown consistency. I think he's shown a willingness to win the ball in the air. I think he can play out from the back and play under pressure. I think he's got a good temperament, man. I think he's got all the raw tools to be a success. So if we tie in the Salibas and him, discount that they're going to be bumps on the road. But more importantly, if there's a better outlook to how we defend in the system, I see no reason as to why it can't be a success for him. And I'm looking at defense next year because, again, Pablo Mari, I'm personally looking at Mari as someone, not that I'm dissing him, but I don't think he's going to be a first teamer. I see him, he can step in and do a job. If he earns his spot, he earns his spot. But I'm keen to see, you know, if Gabriel comes, what level is he on? Saliba and Marie. I'm keen to see these three options play a bit more football because as much as I feel the Luizes and soccer artists and Mustafis have had good points this season, they're all kind of repeat offenders. It's time to
make repeat offenders.
Luiz will start the season, and rightly so, but I want to see us bed in that partnership, and I don't know how Arteta is going to do it because we still need to try and get top four. I mean, many fans will sit here now and say, cool, Gabriel and Saliba are young players, let's let them learn. But if we go and lose 3-0 1 week or they make a mistake, you see what I'm saying? Fans want it all. You can't have it all your way. It's like Chelsea fans. All fans do this, but Chelsea fans banged on about Callum Hudson-Odoi. I remember he started against Liverpool once. He's shaking, and then get him out. We do that with Reece Nelson as well. So we need time, man. But I think the raw potential is there. The raw ingredients to them. I said football genius. Never, man. That's Arsene Wenger. I'm just a man who loves football, man.
No, you know your stuff, though, bro. You know what you're talking about, man.
I'll try, bro. It's the one thing I actually have a clue on in life, bro. I can't. You give me a basic task and I'll struggle. Even at work, I don't know how the hell I have a 9 to 5. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Surely full-time YouTuber next year, bro. Come on, man.
I'd love that, man. I'd love that because it's a bit weird, man. I feel kind of half in, half ain't. It's like, you kind of feel part of it, but then you feel like you're kind of going back to reality. It's like purgatory sort of thing, but that's for another day, man. It's literally a weird one, my guy. It's weird, man.
And next thing I wanted to speak to you about, I don't know if you've seen the Instagram live Aubameyang and Troops from last night.
The entertainer, Troops, the superstar agent.
I'm telling you, they was talking about next season and things like that. And you know, what do you think is delaying this announcement? I mean, apparently they go back to training tomorrow. So is it a case of, you know, him being back at the ground and they will announce it, or what do you think's holding it up?
I mean, we've heard everything. We've heard photographers are not about. People need to come back to pre-season. On one hand, I think it's too much teasing in it. Like, there's too much teasing for it not to be done. I think it's just a case of when we announce it. At the same time, until the deal's done, nothing's done. Like, there could be more positive, moving in a positive direction. But he might be saying, all right, cool, seeing is believing. You said you're going to do this in the market. You said you're going to do that. Show me it, and then I'll commit. You'll see in August, you'll see in September, I've signed and whatnot. Now, I don't know. I think there is a bit of a laxed approach with, obviously, Aubameyang's future in general. And I think a bit of that has come out as fans. We didn't know there's an option of another year. I do think there's penalties, and it's a bit funny how it can be activated, but there's another year. So I think it's done. But at the same time, man, you do wonder, is he kind of waiting? Like, because the market can change. I think what's gone against him, you look at Barcelona, they need to rebuild. So they might not go for an Aubameyang, but they might say, you know what, you're a short-term man, come here and do this thing. So I think he's kind of waiting to see if there's any interest, but will it come? I'm not too sure. You know, you can make one for PSG. They've let Cavani go. But are these clubs as interested in him? Because we've got Arsenal caps on. We're looking at it as he's too good for us. You know, his goals would be missing. We're not looking at it without emotion. And everyone can see Aubameyang's a good player, and you'll get a good 2-3 years out of him because that's all he's got left in the game. But is it worth it? I'm not too sure. So I think he's waiting a bit to see what's going on. But I don't want to say confident. You can't be confident. I can't be confident as a fan. I don't know anything. But I think it's a case of when, not if, man. But again, anything can change, my guy.
How important do you think him signing that deal is? Because, you know, we was talking about Lacazette the other day. You look at the goals that Aubameyang scores in a team that, let's be honest, we're not even that good going forward. We don't even create. I don't know how Aubameyang gets close and wins that golden boot in this Arsenal team. Like, imagine if he was playing for Man City or someone.
Yeah. I mean, it's imperative he signs. It's imperative because, again, you know, no one's bigger than the club. If Aubameyang says he wants to leave, he wants to leave. But for me, what message does that send out to incoming players then, or your existing players? Because we want to get top four, you're significantly weaker. You know, we were losing 25, 30 goals, all competitions with him leaving. For me, you know, Williams just come out today or yesterday and said, you know, Aubameyang's a big part. He needs to stay, he's this and that. It's going to be a kick in the teeth because we're not going to fork out the money to immediately replace him. So it would no doubt be a kick in the teeth, my guy, man. No doubt would be a kick in the teeth and would set us back. And it's simply a spanner in the works for Arteta. This is why I can understand selling him, the money aspect, but equally, and even though I don't agree with it, I can understand, even if you don't sign a new deal, letting him run down that contract if he helps us get top four. Loosely the same logic we had with Aaron Ramsey. Loosely.
Well, that was interesting, you know, because Willian saying that, it made me think, as he already asked Arteta that question, like, listen, if you want me to sign, I want to know if Aubameyang is going to be here next season. And it sounded like he was confident that he is going to be here. So I think that deal is going to get done. I think they're going to make a big fuss of the announcement. You know, they'll bring it out like a signing. Yeah, so I think that's going to happen, man. We ain't got to worry about that. Just quickly away from transfers, I wanted to ask you about the Community Shield next week. Obviously, we got Liverpool at Wembley next Saturday. Now, I see a thing with Pep Guardiola said that he can't understand the mentality in English football that the Community Shield is almost viewed as like a glamorous friendly over here. We're saying in Spain, you know, they call it the Super Cup. He said it's a big game. It's usually Barcelona, Real Madrid. You know, why do you think the Community Shield isn't looked upon as a big game over it?
It's only relevant when you win it. And all I can put it down to, I think it's looked at to a degree as a big game, but all I can see it as is set as, rather than being a spectacle in itself, it's seen as, you know, the curtain opener for the league. It's seen as, you know, this is the first football officially we're going to get in England and we move forward. So maybe it's not respected in itself. It's just seen as an opener. And I just feel it's only relevant when you've won it. Like, you know, nobody really wakes up and says, I want to win the Community Shield. But we're all in. You see Jose Mourinho counts it when he was at United. Ferguson and United count it. We count it. It's only relevant when your team wins it. And obviously it's nice to win trophies. But I just think it's mainly because it acts as a season opener rather than, like you said, with Spain, it's a big spectacle and things. And I don't know, maybe it's because it seems to be different teams. Maybe that goes against it. Because on one hand, you'd think, you know, Arsenal versus Liverpool this year, whatever it was last year and the year before, that would be good. But if you just know it's a Barcelona, Real Madrid, you might be looking at it as and who even knows? The fact that it's Barcelona, Madrid might work in their favor, and people might discard the fact that it's a Super Cup or whatever they call it and just look at that. But I just think it's because it's not seen as anything substantial in its own right, man. Really.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you think we'll win it? Or because Klopp's saying that, you know, he might not play a full strength team, this, that, the other. I think he's trying to play, you know, reverse psychology a little bit. Like, you know, I'm not going to take it too serious. But do you think we'll win that, or do you think we'll struggle?
Literally, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I have to back us, but it could go either way, man. I mean, forgive me if I'm wrong. Liverpool have started pre-season already. It all depends on where Liverpool's mental state with their players are. At the end of the day, you know, they've had that 2-month or so break prior when there was no football, so we can't disregard that fact. But at the same time, it's a mental thing. You know, they've had time to recharge their batteries and they're back early in pre-season. But Liverpool have had a long season. Like they have had to win the league. You know, they had that whole FA Cup and Club Cup where some man had to play in England, some man had to play. So it all depends if he thinks mentally, let me just recharge and give young players chances. But to a degree, you'd imagine the fact that it's at Wembley, the fact that it's at Arsenal, there'll be a mixed team. I don't think it'll be a bag of youth. I do think he'll play maybe the likes of Milner, Curtis Jones, these sort of players will play. You know, maybe one of Mane and Salah and Firmino, but I'm not sure, man. I think he's holding his cards close to his chest. For me, I'd like to win it, of course, because it kind of sets us up better. Yeah.
Interesting story come out this morning as well, just away from Arsenal. The fridge, as they call him.
That man in Greece and that.
He's the Man United captain, just roughing man up in Greece. You know,
madman.
Some man would say that's the best he's defended all season. You know what I mean? What do you make of that? Because I see a comment from a journalist. Forgive me, I forget who it was. He said something along the lines of, can you imagine if Sterling had done that, or Pogba or someone like that? What kind of reaction would we be getting? Because I'm seeing a lot of men give it the old, you know, he's a young lad, he's having a drink, you know, all that. So what do you think about that kind of
humor around it? I think personally, bro, I mean, we know why the likes of Sterling, we know why Pogba so far got more heat for dancing at a wedding than this. I do think it's a matter. We all know, you know, it's funny how the shade of someone's complexion justifies right and wrong, really. A bit of it is that, you know, but I just think it's what benefits Harry Maguire is he's seen as somewhat innocent to a degree, really. Like, as you know, there must have been something to it. When it's a black person, we're seen as, you know, the guilty party rather than the victim. A lot of sympathy. I am seeing people throw him under a bus and whatnot, but But I think it's literally just comes to the color of his skin. From Maguire, though, I think it is harsh because one way or another, we don't know actually what's happened. Like he could have been walking with his dons, someone smashed him in his face, he's back the ting, and it's gone like that. You hear again, you've heard that he's assaulted an officer. There's a lot of things coming out, but I feel sorry for them because footballers are human. If he's reacted to someone abusing him, that's a different one. But equally, it puts he's the club captain, like you said, it puts them in a negative light. He's had a lot of scrutiny himself, so it's his name in the papers for negative reasons, the further agendas. And obviously, a club like Man United, I know they have had some individuals who have been questionable off the field, but it puts them in a negative light. And the funny thing is with football, it will blow over because it's different. It's here with Jack Grealish, it's gone. It's only the Sterlings and players like that have it continuously locked down in their careers and continuously mentioned. And it's even down to the language. It's not plastered over front pages or anything. If that's Sterling, Sterling got a tattoo and it caused a roar. So man, it's simply the color of a man's skin as to why the media are not judging it how it should be judged, in my opinion.
No, you make a good point. I got a man on me in the comments here, so I'm gonna
on to you.
He said, what do you think of the Ozil situation? I mean, we have spoke about this before, but just briefly, like, I'm looking at it now with Ozil thinking, if we can't sell him, which I don't think anyone's going to buy him, no disrespect, because of the wage, we're going to have to involve him next season, aren't we? Because there's no way we can just leave him out in the cold for the whole season on $350 a week.
I mean, if that's what Arteta and the boys say, we're just going to alienate him, it's an L, but it's only an L for 1 more year. Fair enough. Me personally, Arsenal are not the club where we can say just banish him to the 23s. And obviously, if you say banish him to the 23s, that screams agenda because he's not that disruptive. We need him to go, but he's not a disruptive influence. When he was starting 10 or so games, he wasn't called that. He needs to be moved on. Nobody, like you said, even if it was a loan thing, you don't really want to pick up half of his wages or anything close to that. So I think we've got no choice but to involve him. When I say involve him, that don't mean starting week in, week out. I just think he presents an option for Arteta to flirt with. Obviously, there's a lot of games. There's cup competitions. Primarily, I'm looking at him. You play our young players. He's one of the experienced ones for the Europa League, FA Cup when it comes around, and obviously the League Cup. So I'd say just restrict him to being somewhat, a senior sort of voice around the side for the young players and stuff like that. Because, if Emil Smith-Rowe used this year, Emil Smith-Rowe and Joe Willock in particular, use this sort of time that you're with Ozil, for whatever people say, you could learn a lot off of a creative midfield.
Yeah, of course.
You can learn a lot. So use this year and really see how to receive the body on the half turn and things. Because even looking at Joe, has Joe even really done, just as a fan, and I might be being harsh, but could you look at Joe Willock and think he's doing extra work in that position? It doesn't evidently look like that. I don't think Ozil's lost the fans and the football club. But there's some man there's very few men that are going to look at this with a balanced argument. He either repulses you the name Ozil, or you're bringing up stats from 1995 as to why he's the most creative player in the world ever, and he's this and that. You need to look at it with a balanced head. He's a decent player who's stagnating and on the way out, that needs to be moved on because of these inconsistencies in performances and wages. That's the reality of it. Like, he just needs to keep it moving. That's it. He's here for another, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's here for another year all day long. The new kit, I see that you bought the new away kit.
We speaking about.
See, bro, I'm wearing Alexis Sanchez days kit, man. This is when he was really banging for us. But I saw that new kit, and they done a great little promotional video. And I went to the shop and I looked in. I thought, nah, man, I ain't doing that right now. I don't know if I'm just feeling like that because they haven't signed the players yet, and that if I see a Coutinho or Aouar in that kit, I might get it. But I see you bought the kit, man. What do you think of the new away kit overall?
Bro, I only bought it because I fucking love this club, man. And to be fair, it's a tricky one because we talk about not spending and voting with our money and not coming, but every time the kits come, guys like me buy it. For me, the kit's going to have to grow on me. The kit's going to have to, I can't lie. I hear the inspiration between Marble Halls, and it was a fantastic, promo video with the picture of Tierney and things. And like I said, the inspiration of Marble Halls, but it's going to take a while, innit? I think Adidas have been bringing us some nice kits and other teams are making nice kits, but this one here, I'm struggling. It looks like tiger scratches. It's more than that. It's dead. And that's the sort of kit that we wear and we lose 4-0 to Man City or something like that.
You can see it already.
It's collapsed, but it will grow on me, man. Like, there's been a couple kits like that still. It's like, do you remember the 2015 one, the kind of tight Puma one, the red one, the home shirt?
The home shirt, yeah. Sanchez days again.
Yeah. That took a while to grow on me still. I wasn't feeling it at first. Even the one before, not this one, the one last year, the home shirt last year, I wasn't sold in it first and foremost, and it grew on me. I just think the home shirt is up here. The away shirt's a bit meaty. And then I'm going to see what our third shirt is. I know you were saying off air that it's blue. That kind of seems rubby to me. It's not seeming like it's going to be nice, really.
Yeah, it looks all right, but it's just standard, man. Like, are we in a zone now as fans where, like, we're just buying all free kits every year? I feel like we're being taken advantage of a little bit.
Football fans are not logical, bro. Me, myself, we love our club. As much as we say we're not watching it, we're not doing this, they know that they have a business for life. Because if Curtis says, all right, boom, I'm not buying these tickets no more, there's 10 other men that will fight for that
opportunity as well.
Exactly. And it's like, we know football's a religion. As much as we say Arsenal, this, that, and the third, we're still watching them. If we're not going to matches, we're investing time. We're going and finding streams. We're thinking about it all the time. We've got so much emotional and financial investment that it's almost we're too far to turn back sort of thing. And what twangs us as well is subconsciously, I don't care about kits, who's got the new kit, who's got the others. But it's like, I know for me, I look at the old kit, I'm like, the minute the last game of the season comes out, I'll get a new one. I can't wear this one again, really. So it's like, we get twanged. That even me, I like to buy the programs in it. I don't know why. I barely read the programs until after, but I like to have programs, fam. So it's like they know that we're gonna just spend P's and P's. I care about results as well, Matthew, man. I care about results as well, but we're not playing right now, my guy. Trust me, I feel bro. I feel how you feel 100.
It's true, man. It's mad. I remember back in the day, man, they used to, every 2 years, they used to bring a kit out and then they turn to 1 year. Now I'm buying training kit and it's like, yo, man, I don't know it's getting out of hand, bro. I'm telling you.
Kit, official wear, casual wear. Like, I haven't seen it. Like, even me, there's a, I don't know how you'd explain it, but there's one of the new sort of gear and it's like a hoodie that Pepe's wearing. I can't see that nowhere. I want that one. It's like, like, football, I think it's a bit because of music as well, but football and lifestyle and culture, it's almost interlapped. So it's like, the fashion statement, going back 10 or so years, it was unheard of, man wearing football kits to raves. Now it's a fashion statement. It is a fashion thing. Like, especially all them American rappers, I'm not saying they're not interested in football, but I know half of them probably just wearing the kits because it looked wavy, because I've seen them wear Arsenal then Chelsea the next week. Well, it's just that. It's the lifestyle thing now. We're just getting twanged. They know this and they're twanging us.
Proper, man, proper. Let me just think, man. No, you're not blocked, bro. I'm just missing your comments, man. Apologies. There's a lot of comments going up, so I ain't reading.
Try not to be his moderator, man. Where's you moderators, man?
There's man. I need to sort that mod thing out. There's man asking for it, and I'm like, I don't know how you sort it out, but
they were on me as well.
They're onto the mods thing, but listen, players going out. I mean, have we sold one player? I don't think we've sold anyone, have we?
I think technically, if anything, he's not sold, but I swear Mkhitaryan is going to Roma.
He's going,
We've got some youth players off the books in terms of loans and permanent. So that's it, really. Like, that's it. Literally. Pepe come in, but we ain't Pepe Williams come in, but we ain't sold no one per se, I wouldn't say. No, we ain't sold no one. More active level.
I mean, are we in a situation where we're gonna have to sell some of the slightly better players just to reduce the wage bill? Because I'm reading today that Napoli want Socrates, but they want him for basically a free if they're gonna pay his wage. They're saying they can't pay the wanted transfer fee and the wage that he's on.
95k.
We might have to give him for free, and it's like, how have we bought all these players and we can't sell anyone yet? I see like Liverpool selling man for 20-30 million, they don't even play, and
even Daniel, that's a little 20 or so million out of the window, really. And at the time, it looks like he was so cheap by Liverpool.
Yeah, of course.
He couldn't stay fit for anything, and it looked like a good deal, and it is a good deal on both hands. I think it's a thing for me where it's a delicate one. I do think we can bring in players, but I do think we're twanged in that we need to bring in players, but we can't really get rid of players because, like you said, there's not really any buyers. And when you're on mad wages, it's peak. Like when I look at the signing of Socrates, that was clearly trying to be a smart sort of stopgap signing. signing. So we must have known you're not going to get a fee for him. If anything, you might get a 1 or 2 million. I wouldn't mind letting soccer artists go for free in particular because, you know, the wages. Again, every little counts. If we could get his wages off the books, then yeah. But I personally think, because we spoke about soccer artists, I think he's going to stay. I found out today, you know, congratulations to him. He's had another daughter. You know, if you've had a daughter, your wife's just given birth. You're just having a daughter. You've got another young daughter. Would you really want to leave? Are you really going to want to pick up and go unless it's back to Greece? Are you really going to want to pick up and go anywhere really? Because you've got to think about. Your wife's just giving birth. You can't do everything that goes into moving into a yard. So it's a technical one. But I do agree with what you said, man. You know, I don't want Torreira to be sold. We know Guendouzi's one's a bit different, but I don't want him to be sold. I don't want Maitland-Niles to be sold. But I would say these are players that don't necessarily need to be the first out, but these are players that could be sold to raise funds. So I do agree to a degree, man, with what you said, bro. Like we might have to sell certain better players to do certain things.
Let me just say, over 1,000 people watching this live. Big up everyone watching it live. Subscribe to the channel, Curtis Shaw TV. Subscribe to my boy Deluded's channel. Just be patient with the comments, man. It's hard.
Just relax, man. Relax. When we get some moderators, we can pattern and
I need a mod. I see Omar there saying mod. I'm going to speak to you after this, but this question here, DG, is Xhaka in your lineup next season?
I mean, if I was Arteta and I could bring in the midfield, I've always said Xhaka is a guy that I like in my squad and I think he could earn a starting spot, but he wouldn't be a first choice midfielder. That being said, with our current squad, I see why Xhaka plays. You know, Xhaka's one of these midfielders. He's not going to grab 10 goals. You know, I wouldn't say 10 goals, 10 assists. He's not out. There's not one single attribute he's outstanding at. But I think collectively offers a lot to the team. You know, he tries to receive off the centre halves and spray. So, until another centre mid, you know, it's Xhaka and somebody. It's Xhaka and Partey. In the same way, right now, it's probably David Luiz and somebody. It's probably Xhaka and someone. So I'll keep Xhaka in the team. I like Xhaka. I like what he brings. I just want to see more of a blending midfield. I would like to have a goal-scoring midfielder, couple technicians, couple man that can put a foot in and be box to box. You need these because every game is different. You know, how we play against City, we might need a Torreira and a Partey. How we play against Liverpool, it's not a crap example, but it might be a game for the more technical-based midfielders. So we'll see how it happens, man. You will sort it out. The myth will help you.
Big up Omar, you know, big up on stage as well. But so looking at next season, obviously the midfield, man, we need we need better players in that midfield. I see Danny Ceballos yesterday said happy birthday to Joe Willock, and he said see you soon with the eyes. So
sure.
Yeah. Did you not see that on Instagram? Yeah.
They like playing games. That see you
playing them games.
Birthday. It could mean it's a birthday. It could mean I'm linking you in a bit, or it could mean what we're thinking that you're staying at the club next season. It's a techie one still. And then the thing is, like, do you really see us? I want it all in it, but could we really imagine a summer of Partey, Aouar, and Ceballos being renewed? Like,
no, I don't think all three.
A dream in it. It's a dream because Aouar, I've seen 40-something million and as high as 60. Partey's around 40. That's 100 million on two midfielders without outgoings, without sorting out other things. So it might be dream chasing. And the loan fee that comes with Ceballos. But I would like Ceballos to stay, man. I think he could have a good season.
I reckon it's more likely Partey and probably Ceballos. I don't see us spending 45 on Partey and spending 40, 50 on Aouar. I don't know where that money could come from. And we haven't even sold anyone. So, I mean, who would you like to get? I mean, people saying there, Aouar or Coutinho.
If we can't get Aouar, which, you know, if I'm City or Juventus, there should be no contest. The only thing that you expect to come into Arsenal is the French ties, Arteta being young, and obviously, like Gabriel, this could be seen as an intermediate step before the Madrids and stuff. You come Arsenal, you get your develop your consistency. If we can't get him, he's a bit different, but I would go for Szoboszlai. He's my first choice target. Without, I would love Aouar, but he's a thing where he doesn't come into it. One sec. Where's the stream with Turkish DJ?
You did that, didn't you? I was watching that.
No. He's on me still, Carl. We did that, but Turkish. We had some technical difficulties, my guy. We was meant to do one yesterday. We're coming still. We're trying to do one tomorrow. You know, I don't want to probably look nothing, but we're trying to do one tomorrow. Sinner is on me.
You did one the other day, didn't you? I was watching it.
Yeah, we did. Sinner's on me because it was technically Turkish. You said that, but big up yourself. Yeah, man. This guy's at my neck. He's at my neck. But soon, man, we'll come back, man. Apologies, my dude, man. We don't like to sell things. We will come back again, man. Trust me.
Yeah, man. Big up Turkish, man. Let's have a look at it. Get a few questions in. Really want your guys' opinion. Should we loan out Willock to give Smith Rowe more minutes. To me, he's way more talented. What do you guys think? Greetings from Southern California, loving the Lakers cap. Hey, I'll let you answer this, bro, because I know you've seen a lot of the younger players, man. So would you loan out Willock? And do you think Smith Rowe is Smith Rowe better than Willock?
Do you know what? I think in that natural 10 position, clear and bearing in mind Emil can do a job out wide as well. As an actual 10, I think there's no contest. I think Emil's more exciting. I think Emil's better driving with a ball. I think he's got a better pass in him. That being said, there's been about 3 or so managers, Lundberg, Arteta, Emre, they've all seen to play Joe in that role. So I don't know if there's a mandate from the club to play Joe in that role. I do know for a fact that when Joe was coming up from the academy, he was one of them that they put a hat on. And there was a lot of players that we're seeing excel now that probably weren't, they didn't have that same hat in it. We said, okay, Joe is going to come through. The club's being backed up. For me, I have to concede that Joe is probably, in terms of speed of thought, he must be ahead of Emil to get these opportunities. But I'd rather Emil in that role. I'd rather Emil get his feet wet. I think the thing with Joe that Emil has over him, I think Joe's a bit more of a fighter. I think Emil needs to install that fight. I've seen that at Huddersfield. I think when things aren't going our way, at least Joe tries to fight. He looks a bit clueless. I think Emil can go a bit into a shell, because I think that's just how he is. He seems the more quieter type. But for me, Emil gets significant game time next year. Significant. Need him to play, man. Really need him to play. Joe I can understand keeping Joe if we don't bring in a midfielder or two. Like, we still would be quite light, because even if we do bring in Partey, you've got Partey, Torreira, Xhaka, Ceballos, and Joe. Yeah, unless assuming Guendouzi leaves, that's 4. Yeah. On the paper, 3 can play, but 2 are going to play in a pivot. The games are kind of thick and fast. Injury, suspension, loss of form.
Going to get game time.
I'll keep Joe, but at the same time, I understand if he goes out on loan, because has he really played enough football to really develop heaps and bounds, specifically league football? You'd probably say no. He got a little bit at the start of the year and then lost it.
I think Joe's an 8. I think you made a great point the other day. You said, Joe needs to see the game in front of him. I wonder if these managers are playing him in the 10, because I would say the one thing that lets Willock down at times is decision-making, the final ball. And maybe the manager feels like it's safer to have him higher up the pitch,
rather than
making the mistake, instead of being on the edge of his own box. But, there's something in Joe, though. As much as he frustrates me, I look at him and I think, there's a player in there somewhere.
Somewhere, like, he's not shit. He's not shit at all. I think Joe's not. I just think with football, we've got to understand that some men are going to be Saka and Martinelli. Like, some men are going to surprise you, and you didn't think they could do that and do that. But some men are going to be the stars of the team. Some men are just going to be rotation and squad players, and that's okay. I think that's Joe's thing. He can be someone we look at and identify with, but I don't think he's of that same ilk. I think with Joe, like you hit the nail on the head. It's the decision making. It's the body positioning for me. He doesn't look to receive it on the half term, and when he does, to be very reactive rather than proactive. And I personally share what you said is a great point, and it's making me think a bit more like, making them errors up the field is obviously less costly than making it in the middle of the park, and I don't think he follows his runners enough if he's going to play there. But I think one reason he probably plays in that 10 role is when you look at the options we had for last season. I know Emil went out on loan. He looks like the most modern day midfielder in that, he's not in terms of final ball, but the dynamism, the getting up there, the pressing. I think that's a reason as to why he got the nod in that position, because you normally saw it. He'd get us 60 minutes, work his heart out, and then we might go for someone more techie or something like that.
Omar saying, Curtis and DG, do you think Partey will come? I think we're going to sign him late in the window. I don't know if that's more hope than expectation, but
I don't know, my dude, bro. I don't know. I've heard everything. We've heard the whole of Ghana wanting to sign for us.
Everyone wants.
Our Ghanaian brothers are trying so hard to convince Partey, but I don't know, because it's like this Gabriel thing. 1 minute, it looks like they're Arsenal playing all but name. There's a bit of silence. There's a bit of woo-woo. Obviously, Partey must be leaving because he didn't play in the champs. I don't know if he was suspended or anything, but his head must be gone at some.
He was on the bench. He was on the bench for the last night.
So his head gone somewhere.
Quick super chat. What do you think of us being linked to Edouard? A lot of people calling for him to replace Lacazette if Lacazette goes.
I wouldn't mind him, he'd be available for a decent price. I think he's got scope to improve. I'd prefer Dembele of Lyon just slightly. I would be happy with either one. Yeah, I just really like him. I wasn't really convinced when I first saw him at Fulham as a youth. I wasn't really convinced, and ever since he's really been exposed to first team football, I like him, and I think he's just got that natural hunger because he bust out of PSG, bust out of Fulham. He wants to bust out of Lyon now, and even his head might be turned because it might be tactical. But the last 2 games for Lyon, has he not come off the bench in the Champions League?
Yeah, he has.
You know, can we get him for a 40 or so? I think he's a different player to Lacazette. You know, his general play is good, but he's not going to do that. But he's a goal scorer, man. He's a good goal scorer.
It's funny you said that because that Janino, who I think is the director of football, he said that Dembele and Aouar could go for the right price.
Exactly.
It's available. Let me just read this question. Prime Alexis or Aubameyang? I can already see the answer in your head.
Yeah, boy,
you're trying your best to be kind to Aubameyang.
Yeah.
For us now, isn't it?
I'm going with Aubameyang. I've never seen a more complete player. Now I'm guessing. It's a tight one, but for me, Alexis Carr, he was, you know, obviously Aubameyang's just a goal scorer, innit? I don't want to. Aubameyang's never been about general plays, about scoring goals, and he does it elitely. But for me, Alexis at Barcelona was a different level, and it's like when he came to our club, obviously you're gonna shine more. You're with shitter players, but I didn't. You watching him at the Emirates and stuff, I knew he was a good player, but it's like I really deeped how your understanding is. I think Alexis, you know, he could have a final ball, score goals, the work rate. Alexis, without a doubt, man. Alexis still.
I can't even lie. Like we all dislike the way he left and who he went to, but I can honestly say he's one of the best players I think I've ever seen play for Arsenal. Yeah. Honestly, I put him that highly. And then he's saying Saka or Martinelli now. I'll let you answer this one first.
That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. I think it's levels still. I think it's levels, man. Because on one hand, I want to say Martinelli, then I want to say Saka. They both impress me. They really both impress me. Maybe, you know what, if I had to be pushed, I'll say Saka because Saka's had more of a run in the team. You know, obviously Martinelli's had his injury and stuff. Saka's played more of a part this season, not to discredit Martinelli. So I'd say Saka, man. He's made slightly more inroads. You know, Martinelli, even when he was fit, wasn't necessarily playing under Arteta. So I'd say Saka, man. But it's as I've said that I've changed my mind as well. It's both a good problem to have. They're both.
It's a good problem. It's a good problem. I'm going Martinelli, but I know what you're saying. I think Saka's had a bigger impact this season. I just see Martinelli being a striker for us in the future, and I think he'll bang goals in as well. I think he would score goals, man.
I fully agree with that.
I think he's a top player, man. Right. In it, man. So moving forward, then, just you know, everyone's loving the transfer talk at the moment. What do you expect to be done, and what do you think we need to do? Like, what positions and what players do you think we need to get in before the end of the window?
Well, we clearly need whether it's a Ceballos, whether it's an Aouar, whether it's someone not linked, we need someone with the ability to break the lines, or if not dictate the tempo of the game, get onto the ball and do things, because many times, you know, we've got destroyed this season, but we can't break down teams. They're setting up 2 banks of 4. We haven't got the players to break down the team. So it's just all in front. They don't mind that. They'll pick us up, have their chance. 9 times out of 10, they score. And this is as a big reason as to why we've dropped so many points from winning positions and had to draw games we should have won, or, you know, lose games we were winning from and things like that. So I think what we need to do is first and foremost the tactics on the training ground, game management, better defensive structure. Like Omar said, we need a centre-half. For me, we need a centre-half, maybe even 2, but I need 1. Yeah. I think we need an attacking midfielder, maybe more so the modern day. Maybe not someone that's necessarily fixated in the 10 role. They can play deeper, but they can kind of do a thing for us. Maybe someone like that. Box-to-box / defensive mid. I don't think you need a defensive midfielder as long as they're box-to-box and they can break play down. I think it's fine of the team. I would like, if we could, and we've signed Willian, so it's changed. I would have liked if we could address those areas and go for like a sort of real winger. Like I know, like who could score goals. You know, I don't think Zaha is that based on his stats this season, and Zaha's the exception to the rule. But if we could add someone else like that, so I'd say that, man. Maybe a backup choice keeper, even depending on what happens with the Martinez situation. If he says he wants to go, who is our number 2?
That's a sticky one. You know what? I'm looking at it now because I think Xhaka will be in Arsenal's team next season. All right. That's just the way Arteta seems to really like him. Assuming, let's say, Willian is in that 10 role. He could be on the left wing, but I'm just assuming we've got the same front 3 of Lacazette, Aubameyang, Pepe.
Yeah.
What kind of midfielder do we need more next to Xhaka? Do we need the powerful Partey type of midfielder, or do we need the ball player, the Aouar, someone like that to dictate the game? Which one do you think we need more?
It's a techie one because obviously with the system and how Arteta has made us, you don't really see Xhaka. You see Xhaka shining defensively. You don't really see the frailties. On one hand, I think you need that because, you know, you've got Xhaka who passes the ball. You've got, you know, Willian in that role who would break the lines. Then you'd bring in a Partey who is box to box and gives us a bit of steel. So my first instance is if we just use our existing players, is a Torreira in there or someone else. But at the same time, you'd like to imagine Xhaka is a decent player on the ball. Willian is going to come deep and try and drive. Could we go with a Ceballos or a ball player and just really go back to what Arsenal used to do in that we're having possession, we're scrutinized? So I think it's either or. I think either or could go in there, but it literally goes down to the demands of the team. Like, are we playing against a Sheffield United where we're going to need to fight? There you're going to have to go towards a party. Or are we playing against Villa at home where, you know, they're going to sit back and break us down, where we could go with more of an attacker? I want to see more flexibility in what we do. And Arteta's been given that. But I think there's too many shoehorned players at Arsenal. And I don't like players who can play everywhere because sometimes you're not good at any. But we need more ingredients from game to game and what we can kind of do.
No, you're spot on. I mean, Sam's wrote a potential team here for next season. I noticed Willian's not in the team. Like, just speaking about Willian, obviously we spoke a few times. I said that I'm quite happy with that signing. I just think we need to build on that with bigger signings. Like,
simple.
Do you see Willian being like? To me, I think he'll be a regular in the team this season. Like, he hasn't put him in the team. Do you think he'll be in our team come the start of the season?
I think Willian should be. I think Willian's a player you want him to come in there and just put pressure on places. I think he'll be a rotation player. I think there'll be games Willian probably won't start, but I do think there's more than not he will play. If we was to be a bit creative and say, all right, cool, we're going to bring in Willian on a free transfer. We're going to pay a loan fee rather than X a million pounds to bring in Ceballos so we can bring in a Partey. You'd be inclined to believe, you know, Willian is going to play more. I think Willian is going to play substantial football because we've struggled to. We shouldn't have to rely on our creative midfielder to break teams down, but we've struggled to break man down. And I look at it, if we can't fork out that extra money for a creative midfielder and we're going to fix the spine, you can use William because he is an upgrade on Joe Willock. Ozil, you know, it's all fun and games being here for 10 games and not here for none. He's irrelevant to this. Emil's really a tried and untested young player. As much as I love him, and you don't know I love young footballers, if we look at it without emotion, you don't know what you're going to get week in, week out from Emil. He'll show his ability. At times he'll look like a fish out of water. So like you said, I think William will play substantial football. And, you know, I'm actually more sold on it initially than I was. Like, when he came, I was one of these fans. Like, I shared it for you. I was like, for me, it's underwhelming. Because when you see man linked with, and again, United have signed stars and not done anything, but when you see man linked with Sancho, linked with Hervites, and you link with William is a competent signing. Football fans know this, but he's not a player where you're going to think, raw, like, we're here for business. That's nothing to do with him. That's on the club and things like that. So I didn't mind William. And now that he's here, I don't mind him even more. I think, like he said, he puts pressure on the wide positions. He can play in the 10. I don't mind it at all. Really don't mind it at all. Really.
Yeah, no, I think Willian's a shrewd signing. Like, we're in that situation now where kind of, as Arsenal fans, we can't look at them like Man United, Man City. Like, they're financially, they're in a different zone to us. We've got to be smarter than that. We've wasted so much money on players like Xhaka and, you know, Mustafi and guys like that. So
Jose Perez.
Yeah, there you go, Perez, and, you know, there's so many where they've gone wrong. You know, we can even look at Pepe and say, you know, we paid more than we should have paid for him. Even though I heard the Lille chairman saying that, you know, we got a bargain for him. They reckon they turned down more money elsewhere and this, that, the other. So it's a big season for Pepe, though, isn't it, man? He needs to come to the party this season, man. Do you think Arteta, they said he was notorious at Man City at improving Sane and Sterling, do you think he can get the best out of him?
I think he can. I think he's got a reaction from Pepe. I think Pepe ended the season strongly. I think the biggest thing away from that is, I think, and many people weren't looking at it, for all of Pepe's bad form and things like that, I think a big reason as to why he wasn't playing is because you heard indirectly, he kept talking about work rate, tracking back. And Saka gave a bit of that, you know, for whatever reason. Saka was doing that, Pepe wasn't. So I think Pepe's reacted. What I want to see from Pepe, Pepe, I have sympathy because anyone in his position would go through loss of form, which is understandable, would need time to adapt to the league, which is understandable, and would lose their confidence. But for me, I'm looking at Pepe to sort it out more so himself. There are factors, you know, if you get someone consistently playing at right back and, you know, actually feed Pepe to his strengths, then we would see a better Pepe. But I'm looking at it's like, it's not a Reece Nelson thing where you're in your early 20s, you've not been here. You've been a main man at Lille. Obviously, Arsenal and Lille, with all due respect, is different things. The expectation is different. But I just think what I like about Pepe is that he's easygoing. But what I want to see from Pepe is he has the sense that he is the difference maker. Like, you are Nicolas Pepe. I want him to be a bit more Henry-ish. Like, I know he's not Henry, the different abilities and all of these things, but Henry didn't just, you know, he took it personally when we're losing, that I have to be the one to change this. And I've seen that a bit from Pepe. I want to see that because it's all down to Pepe now. Pepe's 25, same age as me. It's down to him now to really pull it down. Like, even if he was bought for 40 million, he'd be a decent signing, or 30 million, it would be calm. But because he's bought for 70, it's to the forefront. So I think it's really down to Pepe, man. There's a lot of things we can do to help him, but it's down to Pepe. And I think we will see a better Pepe, man. All we need is Pepe's confidence. Like my man said in the comments, and I believe it as well, Maitland-Niles has a lot of things to say about his game, but going forward, it's no coincidence that whenever Maitland-Niles plays, Pepe has a better game because he knows that overlap is coming. He knows he's going to... Maitland-Niles tries to go forward as much as he can, where obviously my man doesn't. Bellerin doesn't. He looks to go back. He plays quite safe for whatever reason. So if we can get a consistent fullback, if we can get a consistent sort of playing style and understand what we both want to do, then Pepe can be better. But I believe fundamentally, if Pepe has a bad season next year, it's down to Pepe. Pepe has to turn it around for himself. Like my man said, he's great in the cup final and he has been good this season. You know, he's been underwhelming in some incidences, but he has been good. So there is a player in Pepe, man. There is a player. For
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. I think, and I do think he is better with Ainsley. They're talking about potentially selling him. I'm seeing him being linked to Wolves today, man. But kind of hope we keep hold of Ainsley, man. I wouldn't be letting him go. I actually think he can be a better right back than Bellerin, to be honest. I actually think he is a better right back than Bellerin right now.
Same.
You know?
Same. I actually...
Quickly, I'm going to finish. I'm going to run through the squad quick. Just give me a quick answer. Like, would you sell them, keep them, loan them out? Yeah. Obviously, the goalkeepers, Leno's a keep, isn't he?
Both stay.
Both stay. So we're going to the defense. So right back, Bellerin.
Keep. And I say keep because I can't see an offer coming in. If an offer comes in, I'll entertain it. But I'd say keep because I can't see one coming in.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'd let him go if we got a good offer. Cedric's going to stay and he signed 4 years. Ainsley, what would you do with him?
Keep. Unless we have to raise funds, I'd keep. For me personally, I'm keeping Maitland. I think if I was Arteta, I could use him. I could use him in midfield. I could use him at right back. I'm looking at him in particular at fullback. It's open for you to make that your own, really, Maitland, if you want it. I don't want to write off Cedric Suarez because he hasn't really had a chance, but like my man said, I think Maitland's better than him. I think we got to be fair to Bellerin because Bellerin has shown how good he can be. But Maitland-Niles is more my sort of fullback going forward. And I feel in today's day and age, defending is important, but it's about what you do going forward. And we need to look like we have extra wingers like Liverpool. We don't with Bellerin. You know, maybe when Bellerin's fully fit, and again, I'll give him a full season under Arteta to do his thing, but I can't see too much changing. So Maitland stays for me. Bellerin, I entertain it.
Yeah. Left back, Tierney is obviously a keep. Kolasinac.
No, he'd be open. He'd be available for me. He'd be available.
Yeah, he's available. Yeah. Centre backs then. So Holding.
I love him, but he'd be available for the right price.
Yeah, agree. Chambers.
Same, available for the right price. Even though I think it's harsh on him, available for the right price.
Yeah. Socrates.
Just available. Like you are available.
I said not even for the right price. He's just available at any price.
You can't move forward. Mustafi, available. He's had a decent year, but I'm being a bit cynic and I'd say there's never been a better time to sell him. Really, I understand if he stays and Arteta runs with him, but I think sell him, man. I'd sell him. He should be on paper our best defender. Is he? Some might say yes, some might say no. My point being, it's not abundantly clear. So sell.
Yeah, I'd sell Mustafi as well. David Luiz.
I keep, I think he shouldn't have signed the renew, but I keep, it sounds cliche, but he is a big character. He has got a big voice. I don't think he's been terrible last season. I just feel, he's let himself down. I think even at times where he's let himself down, it hasn't necessarily been his fault. Like you look at Kolasinac versus Spurs, Holding against, I can't remember who it was against, but Holding done one bookie pass and Luiz had to make an error. I think even Chelsea at the bridge with Mustafi. So I keep Luiz, but Luiz is, for me, Luiz would be a man that I'm phasing out. Like you're a voice.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm phasing you out of the thing. So I keep him for a year, but phase out thing.
One more year. Midfield then, Xhaka.
Stays for me.
He stays, yeah.
Stays for me.
Torreira.
Stays for me, but again, he's one of these players like Guendouzi and Maitland. If people need to be sold and he doesn't fit into what my man wants, like Socrates in the defense, then Torreira's got to be made available. But if it was up to me, there's no way in hell I'd sell Torreira. I like him a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, man, I got time for him.
Looking at them two, I feel like I'd sell one of them.
Yeah, they don't both scream. They're not abundantly great at anything in midfield.
No, they're not. They're not. I'm not sure which one I would sell, but one of them. Joe Willock, would you keep him? Would you loan him out?
Do you know what? I'd keep him for depth purposes, but if an offer of a loan came, I'd entertain it and I'd really put it to him and say, is this what you want to do? Because as much as I would like him in the squad and I think he could learn under Arteta, minutes are currency. Looking at the Premier, he had a chance initially, the start of the season, he deserved to be in the team and then he lost it. And it's all fun and games getting a 10 minutes here, a this here and a that here. But I think if he could go somewhere where he's going to get 90 minutes and come back, in 2021, 22, a significantly better player, do your thing. So,
Guendouzi.
I'd keep
him.
Would
you sell him, though? Not just because they've fallen out. Like,
if it was up to me, I wouldn't sell Guendouzi. I like him a lot, man. And maybe it's because I like young players, but I do think there's a player of someone in Guendouzi, so he would be. And I think Arteta does as well. I don't think it's about ability with Arteta. It's just, you're taking a piss and I ain't got time for this. And I need to, I've got other things to worry about. I don't want to keep worrying about if you're going to behave day in, day out. So,
no time for that. You got to get rid of him for me. Mr. Ozil.
He's got to go, man. Like it's nothing to do with ability, but he's got to go. He's straining the club's resources, and for me, it's not healthy. The amount that love him too much, that hate him too much, that we need to divorce in it. Like we need to divorce. It's admirable that he wants to stay at the club, and if this was anyone else continuously saying they don't want to leave, they just want to play for Arsenal, people might get gassed off that. But Ozil needs to. For me, we need to move Ozil on for the health of the club so we can do other things. But as Omar put it, we're not going nowhere. Ozil's here to stay, man.
He's not going. He said he'll be here till the end of his contract, and he wasn't lying. That's for real. Reece Nelson.
I keep, man. He's got a. I'm not gonna lie. Next season I won't say it's his last season before I give up on him, but I need to really see something next season. I'm not saying you have to get PFA young player, but I really need to see something because I thought this season, you would have given me a decent year. I think he's got more than he's shown this year, and I think with Reece, it's a mental thing. It's a confidence thing. If he can get over that. We got a decent player there.
Yeah. Probably give him one more year.
Willian Cummings complicated things. Willian in the 10 and on the left. If he plays on the right with Pepe and technically Saka, Nelson might have to go on loan and get games somewhere. I'm not too sure. No.
Possibly. Lacazette.
Keep. I'll keep Lacazette. You need him in the squad, man. I know I get onto Lacazette a lot and stuff, but I think his quality shows. He's someone you need in the squad. I don't think he's going to lead it like Aubameyang, but I think you need someone like that. And you need someone like that. If Lacazette accepts that I'm the plan B, man, I'm a rotation, man. Sometimes I'm going to play, sometimes I'm not. That's cool. I think Lacazette stays for that purpose alone, man. He's got quality for it.
Eddie.
I keep Eddie, For me, Eddie's really like we said, when I look at the best of the rest from the young players and I've seen who's really looks a significantly better player, who looks like they've increased their stature. I think there's a lot of question marks with Eddie. I don't think he's perfect, but I feel when you exclude Martinelli and Saka, he's probably done the best because I don't think Joe seized his chances. I think at times Eddie hasn't done bad, but I think he's really tried to seize his chances. So I would keep him, but I understand, like you said, if there's an opportunity for Eddie to have a more positive loan spell where he's playing week in, week out, then because I'm still not fully convinced on Eddie. I believe in his ability to be a squad player, but I don't know his true level yet. I don't know if you're a man that's going to come and do the cup competitions, get the subs, the occasional start. I'm not too sure, but I will keep Eddie around the squad, man. I'd really keep him in and around.
What about loaning out Eddie and promoting Balogun?
I'd hear that. I'd hear that. I think we've got to keep one of these, whether it's Tyrese, John Jules, or Balogun or Eddie. I'd hear that. But for all three of them, they've got to be selfish. Like I think Tyrese and Balogun would relish being in the first team environment, but I think at this age you've got to do what you can to play games. I wouldn't mind Balogun, let Eddie go. He's probably right. Both need games, but Eddie needs 90 minutes first team football more so. I'd entertain that. I'd entertain him going out on loan. Same way with Joe. I'd entertain that still.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't mind that. And Smith Rowe, you would keep,
man. At least he's got until January. A couple of these young players, Eddie, Joe, Nelson. All the others apart from Saka and Martinelli, you're all staying with me. You've got 6 months to show me you're on something. Like we saw in January with Emil. If you're showing that you need to go out and play games elsewhere and do something, then we review it. But for me, trust me, GP, man, hit the like button, people, man. We're out here I'm risking my job for you, literally, people.
You know what I mean? Man's at work. I'm gonna let you get going, man. I'm gonna wrap it up anyway, man.
Calm. We got a couple minutes still, but man. That's what man. I would, if you're not on it by January, or if you look like you need something in January, then you either leave permanently or you go out on loan. But the young players would get another 6 months initially for me.
Let me give you and obviously you'll keep Aubameyang. That was the last one.
Yeah,
let me give you a scenario, and I believe this could be actually happening at the moment. If the board are saying to Arteta, right, if you want to sign a Partey or an Aouar or someone like that, you've got to get rid of a few players who are going to bring us some funds in, not Socrates on a free and all them. Who would you actually consider, like, forgetting what you've just said about them now, like, would you then think, you know what, I might have to sacrifice a Torreira to get a Partey, or I might let a Lacazette go for a Dembele or something? Who would you actually potentially sell?
You just said two names I'd entertain. Lacazette, when I bring in, if they said it to me like that, then I have to consider his contract and things like that. Lacazette, Torreira, because if I'm being harsh, Torreira doesn't fit in right now with what Arteta's trying to do. So Torreira, Lacazette, Matteo Guendouzi, he signed for 9 million. Rob Holding, he was signed for 2 million. You can make a 15-20 on that. I wouldn't say I'll do it, but if I needed to raise funds right now to do several things, and I know it's making more holes in our team, but Martinez might be someone I entertain just based on what he said, based on his contract length, and based on that's bringing in a 30 million. Carter said it perfectly. Bellerin is someone I'm entertaining. Yeah. If I had to, and a real tough heart, I guess I'd have to have that conversation about Maitland-Niles, because I guess you're asking me if I wanted to, as a manager, if I wanted to make significant improvements or do what I needed to do, I'd have to make some harsh decisions. So I might have to throw Maitland-Niles into that occasion as well, because these are the players off the top of my head that I think are bringing in significant ones. I don't want to sell Nelson, but surely you could get a 20 for Nelson as well, just based on the young and the potential and the rest of it. So these are probably the man I'm looking at. Kolasinac, I'll take a 15. Surely can get a 15. The 10, 15. I know he's on 100 bags a week, but there's also that. Is there anybody else? If I get a 20 million offer for Eddie Nketiah, I might entertain it as well, because he's contracted in 2022. A decision has to be made. Looking around the squad as well, just off the top of my head, there isn't too much, man. I might even entertain selling Leno. If the same thing, just based on what I said about Martinez, bro. Because I've said sell Martinez. What if I say Martinez has shown me his levels? He's more my sort of keeper. Let's let Leno go and then bring in a number 2. So I guess that, but there's not too many. Joe Willock, 15, 10, 15. Just that, really, more looking at the youngest sort of players, just because they seem that they have more to give in the game, and with the exception of Lacazette. But yeah, man, these sort of man there, really. Is there anyone else? There's not anyone else. Like, no one else, really. No one bringing significant P's. Like, no one bringing in P's like that.
It's funny because, with the young players, I even admit myself, I've said a lot of times that Eddie really, I don't know what it is with Eddie, just I'm not convinced by him. But with these young players, it can just change so quickly, can't it? Where they have a good little 3 months in the team and all of a sudden they just lift off. And so it's and that's the thing, we've seen with Gnabry and players like Jeff Rene, Adelaide, you let young players go you don't think are quite up to it. Next minute they become top players, and that's the risk when you're doing that. Let me just read this question. He's saying, did you hear that Williams said the reason he signed 3 years was because Arteta is planning to win the Prem and the Champions League within 3 years? I mean,
he's obviously going to say that, man.
He's got to say that, hasn't he? I mean, I think he. I mean, what do you think? Do you think we could Champions League? I'm not even going to ask you that question, but do you think we could win the Premier League within 3 years?
I mean, anything's possible, but anything's possible. But if I just use the maths, I'd have to say no, because I can't see you. I'd at best maybe challenging, but I just can't see what Arteta wants to do hitting full maturity. Now, I don't know, because anything can change, because you look at the amount of changes we've made off the field with the staff changes. This tells me that we're trying to change very quickly. It's as stupid as football sounds. You bring in the right players, you install some consistency and tactics and things, then yeah, but look how long it took Liverpool. A bunch of them players were together for a minute, but look how much long it took them to really, technically, tactically, mentally, spiritually able to do it. I don't think it's going to happen in 3 years. And we still have a kind of naive team. So I want to be wrong, of course. Nobody wants to win Arsenal win the league more than me, man. I thought we was going to do it in primary, but yeah, I think it's wishful thinking. Let's just focus on becoming a top 4 team, because right now, again, signings can make things change. But even with our current existing players, would you sit here and say we'll make top 4 in the next 3 years? I'm sure most people will be saying, oh yeah, but if we can do this, there's no definitive answer like yes. No. So wishful thinking, man. Wishful thinking.
You look here, he makes a good point. I know we're not Liverpool. People always make that comparison, but Klopp got Europa League the first year, lost in the final. Second year, he got top 4. Third year, he got Champions League final, lost to Real Madrid. Fourth year, they won the Champions League. Fifth year, he wins the Premier League. And I agree with what he's saying there. I think Klopp walked into a worse Liverpool squad than the one we've got now. They had Ricky Lambert and them type of guys when he walked in.
They were, no disrespect to Liverpool, but to put it nicely, the squad was poor. I think what Klopp has shown first and foremost is what I keep saying. People underestimate the making players better. The solution in England is always to buy new players. Clearly, Liverpool needed new players. The squad is not the same. But coaching, getting a sort of work ethic and a philosophy going helps to make things 10 times easier. And it also helps when everybody's singing on the same hymn sheet, because, you know, Klopp is one thing. Klopp is the guy that they're going to listen to, but he needed, the Coutinho money. How is that going to be used correctly? Are we going to get new players? When he said he wants someone like a Salah or something, go and get it done. For me, what I've liked about Liverpool in the last few years is every signing they've made up until recently, because I can't remember the last one they signed, it seemed like a final piece to the jigsaw. You could see why Robertson was signed. Obviously, Trent come through the academy really, really out of nowhere. He's helped them. You can see why Van Dijk and Alisson came. You could see why Mane, even though people were turning up their noses, you can see what Firmino brings. I know he gets critiqued for not scoring. You can see these sort of things. For us, I think our players are they're just so there's so many things wrong. I just think mentally a lot of them. And when you look at the profile of the Liverpool players, I think a lot of them have come to Liverpool with a point to prove. Like, everybody can say Mane is one of the best in the league, but at a time, people be like, Mane. So the same with Salah. They bought Coutinho. Remember, Coutinho was a sort of promised kid who wasn't quite hitting the heights. Obviously Van Dijk was 30 at the time, but people were saying, oh, he's been at Southampton, he's been at Celtic, he's not worth that money and things. Alisson was the only one there's been no question marks over, but everybody, the profile player they've gone with is that they've had fire in their belly. For me, it's about singing from the same hymn sheet. I'm inclined to believe, because of the structural changes, that Arteta is going to get more control. Arteta is going to be able to do that sort of Liverpool thing. And like someone previously said there, they got to 2 finals or so before they started seeing real success. So what does that tell you? In 4 years, there's been building blocks. And that's all I want to see at Arsenal. I 100% believe in Arteta, but he needs to be helped. I know he's got more sort of control with transfers, but he's only one man trying to return this club back to how it should be. So it's a myth.
No, you make a great point, man. I just want to finish with this thing I've just seen anyway. It's coming from the Telegraph, but it's saying, hearing that Gabriel and his camp are more than happy to wait before making a final decision. Manchester United interest has thrown a spanner in the works, could potentially drag on until next week. So it seems like they have turned his head, man. And the thing with Man United, when Man United get involved, they're just going to say, what have Arsenal offered you? 90 grand, 100 grand? We'll give you 150, 160. It's going to turn his head, I mean, so
what you don't want it to be the case of, and especially that's one thing. But we also got, I also think as well, a lot of agents don't actually listen to their players. Like, Gabriel could be sitting there and saying, I want to go to Napoli, I want to go to Arsenal, but they're saying, no, hang on, we can get you a better contract, we can earn more commission for ourselves. And you're wary of what they're saying to him, sort of thing. So the longer it drags on, that's the more you're thinking of. And for me, as much as I believe that, it's in their points, because it's in their interest to do that, because as a serious point, we don't know anything in the negotiations. It's just a case of stick or twist. We don't know if Arsenal are playing mind games. We don't know if Napoli are playing mind games. We don't know if the Lille president is chatting shit. So it's in his shout out to you, Ghost man. So it's in our best interest. It's in their best interest, sorry, to wait. And who knows? Gabriel might or not have made his decision, because he does scream indecisive. You know, he wants to play for Arsenal. He wouldn't mind going to Napoli. He's talked up Chelsea. He's had a medical once upon a time at Everton. PSG, he will go and do his thing there. So it just seems like he's ideal to it. He's listening to everything, and it just seems like his agents are trying to see if they can get the best deal and the best commission somewhere. So this will work out, man. We're not going to see it confirmed anytime soon, even though I wish it would.
Yeah, man. Kaylee, no Europa League watch along. I might do one for the Champions League final. We'll have to see, man. Maybe I'll try and get you on, or we do one.
Yeah, we'll see what can pattern, man.
See what happens. I'm gonna let you get going anyway, bro. I appreciate you coming on.
Come on, man. You know, man, we gotta keep doing this.
We're gonna keep doing this, man. Every week we'll rotate, do one on mine, one on yours. We keep it moving, man. Over 1,200 people in the live.
Big up everybody.
Big up everyone supporting. Subscribe to my channel, Curtis Shaw TV. Subscribe to Deluded Gooner, one of the best Arsenal YouTubers out there, man. Listen, we're rolling Tottenham's ground in November, man. We got to be rolling out of there with one of them football content awards, surely, bro.
We need to walk out with something, man. Some Arsenal fan needs to walk away with something, bro.
You know what I mean, man? Surely, man. Yo, big up everyone for watching. Big up Deluded. We'll be back next time. Take care, everyone.
Done now.
Bless.